I should have caught this sooner, but I didn't. I was 7 minutes and 36 seconds deep into that goddamn... I don't know. I have a second shot now at redeeming myself. So basically, to try to encapsulate everything I was saying, it makes me sad what happened to Ben Askren. And the reason I was thinking about Ben Askren is I was listening to Cory Sandhagen and Joe Rogan talk. And Cory's always just been an interesting guy. A fan, like, ever since I first heard him speak, and when was that? I think it was after he got that, there was that armbar that he got out of. I remember slightly seeing that in some regard. And I was like, that guy, that build, that guy, like, that's a crazy motherfucker. Oh, that's my type of crazy right there. Because he goes on to speak on this podcast of the Joe Rogan one in June of this year of 2025, that, you know, he's scared, he gets rid of that scaredness, he goes through these weird cycles, even the way he thinks, and, like, he'll just have a story play in his head because he's listening to somebody. That's just the way his brain, that's how my brain works. Oh, dude. You know what I mean? And when he talks about, it's very hard to just write a sentence. I'm like, I've been there before. It's got, like, I can just write a sentence. Like, I can feel confident about it. I struggle with drawing. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me. Maybe I have early onset fucking Jamie Foxx disease. No, not Jamie Foxx. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying. Either way. They started talking about Ben Askren. And I know I'm kind of like shooting through this, and this doesn't sound too different from the word salad soup that I give on a podcast basis. But, you know, they were talking about Ben Askren. He has to get this double lung transplant surgery. He got something called necrotic pneumonia, and it just ate away one of his lungs. And I just... reverse engineering is important. You know, being able to understand, well, why is that happening and how do you reverse it? Reverse engineering is extremely important. I feel like that's something that's just not taught enough. I think realistically, we are, how do you say, really stuck on the semantics, before I just get too eccentric with my words. I looked at my sister's homework. She's studying to become a nurse, and I'm just looking at this math, and the same way I've always looked at math, and I'm like, this makes sense. I don't take anything away from that. I don't. But it's just weird how we know we have this flawed math system that we just continue with, because, you know, what else are you going to do? Things can only happen in time and space. It's like, if that's the case and we have a say over that, you know, let's have an actual say over that. I don't think people in the medical field learn properly, you know. I don't think in this country we really aim to help our citizens become doctors, to become mathematicians. I think it's something that you have to find on your own, build on your own, and you waste so much of your younger years not really learning anything. And it's not until you go, fuck, and have that thought, and you're ready to throw yourself against the wall because, oh my god, no, I really didn't learn anything. Because if I did, I would have deemed so many things useful. And of course things become natural and things like that, and teaching somebody how to do chores isn't really crazy. But I think about martial arts. I think about, let me stick on in terms of how the medical field should and could fix things. I'm not going to go back all the way to fucking recruiting babies. I'll just stem from high school to college. In high school, if you really are aiming to become a doctor, yes, how many times do you fucking learn anatomy? I want to know, on average, how many times a potential doctor takes an anatomy class, and how many times it's just redundant information, because you forget things because we teach you too fast, so we got to keep looping back around, and in turn, you don't really learn too much, and it's just this fucking process that spews out a couple people, and we make things arbitrarily hard, like our tests, so that not everybody can pass, and we say that it's a barrier to entry, so we only have good doctors. But with the amount of medical accidents and procedures that happen nowadays, where we've been converting to more C-sections than natural births, because now we have salesmen as doctors, because it's so easy to cheat the system. Dude, I could become a fucking doctor, and I could learn none of the information. There was a lady in Florida who was a pretend nurse. 2,000 patients she helped. She was so good at her job, they offered her a fucking promotion above other actual nurses. So, in terms of how we teach, I think that if we're gonna do our anatomy, can we just have a book that gives you a clear structure on all organs, all parts of the body? Just throw the dictionary of anatomy at a kid and go, read it. You have until the end of high school. And even then, I guess there's some thought experiment fucking law that I think, James Moore or James Wolfe, fucking the Wolf theory, whatever. The whole thing is that if you allow more time for things to happen, the level of efficiency goes down. And I think that is obstructed by a lack of values. Those values should be wanting to learn, not necessarily as quick as possible, but on a journey's pace, which is your own. You know, we can live in this world where what is like everything's just written in stone, that this is what you are. What is a prophecy but a man believing it to be his destiny? What is a prophecy but someone believing it to be their destiny? Yeah, you could take the he, she version or the they, them version. Either way, we have all this information that we don't even learn properly in a concise manner, and then we expect people to create results that are just unreasonable. We all know the pharmaceutical industry, all that type of stuff. We could be aware of it. It doesn't mean it stops. People are tied to their vices and they trade it. It's very hard to actually get out of a vice, break from a vice, and not trade it with anything. Like a smoker always snacking on things, or a crackhead now chewing gum. So, learn all the parts of the body. I think that should apply to everything. I think if you see the way broadly, you see it in everything. Miyamoto Musashi Miyamoto. Actually, technically, the way I said it first was right in Japanese terms. But if you see it in one way, if you can see it in all ways, you see it in one way, vice versa. Same with cars. Just learn all the parts first, and then you learn how they interact and everything. And it's just about how you structure this book. You can structure this book by having it chaptered by organ. You can have it chaptered by function. You can have both. I mean, there's enough digital space in this fucking world, you know what I mean? Which is funny, because that's one thing people don't really think about in terms of that. Like, yes, memory full, but we view it as this infinite thing. Even this, it is not infinite. It's still, AI still has to play by the same rules that we do. It is still susceptible to entropy, quote unquote, whatever you want to deem entropy. This is another example of what is a prophecy but someone believing it to be their destiny. And you can break that down to the smallest factor of if somebody tells you something and you believe it enough, it genuinely does become your reality. And people take that and run with it in so many childlike ways. And how can you blame them when you have this world that has almost zero room for full human expression? So, if we know we can fix systems, we're sophisticated enough to do that because we can have an open forum discussion. Yes, we can have open forum discussions. I'm very sorry what happened to you, Charlie Kirk. Very sorry for that. That is, I don't care what anybody wants to say or feel. Same thing with Ben Askren. A sad story is a sad story. That is the bad ending. That is another human life we have lost to the bad ending. The good ending is where everybody is not fixable. Okay? Understand where the apostrophes and commas and parentheses are going here. But things can be fixed, things can be saved, things can change, things can be different, however you want to say it, with the connotated meaning behind the fucking noise your mouth is making. The good ending being that we all can come together and not only forgive, but not repeat, not end up doing again, feeling truly. That's not guilty in terms of sorry. Don't feel guilty. Guilty is necessary when you know you have a problem to fix. That's your body pushing you to go and fix it. And a lot of people let that guilt eat them up because they'd rather let that happen than actually change the scenario. That is the truth. People want what they want, and it's because they're mimicking something. They're mimicking something like the world that they're seeing around them, where it's like, yeah, we all actually know none of this matters, but we're gonna pretend, and we put on a Valley Girl voice. We just do that. We're just acting like the things that are real aren't real. When we were a kid, we thought quicksand was gonna be more of a problem. And I'm not saying we should start putting quicksand pits everywhere, but there is very, very little room to experience what our genetics have been experiencing, and I think that's part of this process. And we shouldn't try to go full archaic primal, but we also shouldn't be so angelic orderly. We need a middle ground, or at least a journey between each side to experience everything from the goods to the bads, learning to enjoy the process and going from there. Something that even Eastern religion, I think, kind of gets wrong is you'll feel so much better if you just don't have anything, if you just let it go, bro. You just let it go. And you'll feel so much better without attachment and desire no. Because that's when the people in the middle, the people like me, not the evil me's, well, the evil me's for this context, these people will see that and take advantage of you. The people who can be in the middle and understand that if you just keep putting everybody on a fucking side, if you give people two options and two options only, you can run the world however the fuck you want. However you want. You give people pizza or burgers. You can get people to start killing each other over pizza and burgers. And I hate to say it, but it's truly a lack of mental capacity. I just don't think you can have genuinely smart people. Again, when I use the word smart, what is the connotation that you have in your mind with that word? I'm trying to express smart as, I guess I shouldn't even say smart and try to put my meaning on it. I should just say caring. When you have caring people, when you have competent people who care but won't stand for any bullshit, I think those people are not only out there. I think religion, philosophy, whatever, all these things are just meant to be like, if you think this way, come here, and then you have the focal point, and then you have a little area around it. Kind of like a nipple. You have the areoli and then the sucky part, whatever that's called. But you have the thing in the middle, and you have the areola around it, and that's how much space this one idea occupies, in a sense, with it being, super focused in the middle. And that's kind of how all things go, because that's what it is. But I still think there's a balance where the middle doesn't take advantage of the outside and go, I'm the star of this show. It's like the whole point being, I think this world would be better suited in a sense of, all right, if we know that giving people one side or another is a way to manipulate them, I think it's also a way to inspire them, and people will learn by example. I think you can't get around that. I think that's kind of a truth to life, to reality, where if you see an example, you know it is now possible, and the realm of you experiencing it and doing it yourself is no longer zero. It is not zero. It's just not. So I think you just do what these people want, because at the end of the day, they're all like, we're all a little sick where we want to play teams because it's fun in a sense, and we do it on, Sunday night football, and it's not really that serious, but you want to be passionate about it. You're like, Bills suck, go Ravens, all that stuff. Go Colts. Colts saved a parlay of mine. Oh my God, 29-28. Fucking, whoo, literally some Bills Ravens type shit right there, week 2. I'm keeping up with football, kind of. It's because of bets. It's not for a good reason, but it's not because I love the sport so much. It's for degeneracy. So I've been on a 3-week hot streak. I don't win a lot of money, but the whole goal is to still win money, and I'll take any bit of growth. I will be grateful for anything. I'm grateful. Holy shit, thank you. I've won 3 weeks in a row. And if it's been like, $80, $50, $30, things like that. So it's not a lot, but I'm only betting, 5 to 10 and then 15 per week. So put it in perspective like that. I don't like to go over my budget of 15, and I've been bad at times and done 25. And I'll still in-shot a win, but it doesn't it'll cover my losses and give me some, but it's like, I could have done without, you know what I mean? Spend 25, win 34. It could have been 10 and 34, and that little bit of a difference even then still matters. But going back to the areolis, the areols, but either way, I have a bong in my hand. All right. Either way, give people what they want. I think you split the world into two. I think you go, the upper hemisphere, the northern hemisphere is it's society, it's order, it's a place with law, people are protected, and you can make things work like that. I believe so. And then on the southern side, the southern hemisphere, south side, you have complete anarchy. You just have people fending for themselves, and then see what happens. I want to know what's actually more peaceful. And maybe you can't constitute, maybe you can't encapsulate what peace is in a way that is agreeable to everybody 100%. But you can try to meet as much as you can in the middle. And I think I think that falls down to preference. People like being in the chaos. It's just about which side. They like being in all-encompassing order or all-encompassing chaos. And both sides annoy the fuck out of me. I hate both of you. I love and hate you both. There are so many things I love and admire and adore about people who are super organized, super stringent, follow a code 100% of the time, 100% of the time, all this stuff. And then there's so many fucking things I truly hate and dislike about you. The same goes for the people that are too chaotic, too anarchaic, too on the side of, fucking survival of the fittest, which both sides are kind of like that. It's just, I guess, a physical versus mental challenge, which even now, not gonna lie, I don't know. I'm kind of rethinking that stuff. I'm definitely rethinking that stuff. Lotl, Land of the Lustrous, has made me think so differently. 1000X Resist is also another story. It's made me think very differently about things. I love it. I'm going to think so many different things in this world and feel so many different ways at different points in times, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait. But yeah, both sides, and just being too fucking disorderly, then everything's a mess. Things stink. People get, kind of ugly. I mean, people get super ugly on both sides. You know, I think when you start mixing, you create more beauty. There's still the beautiful ones above all on either side. You know, the red and the blue, however you want to put it, black and the white. But it would be, it's nice seeing the things that they excel at that you have a preference for. In terms of the chaos, I love how unhinged. I love the unhingedness of it. I love the descent into darkness. I love the ability to not give a fuck. Ultimate confidence, you know, beyond or without delusion, essentially. And then for, you know, the other side, I like the organization of things. I like being able to go back and reference as accurately as possible something that I've, you know, intaken in my life and output it at a different point in time. Make that quantum connection, you know? You can kind of give yourself save points in a sense. I don't know, this is a weird thought I've had, but I'm like, you can kind of give yourself save points if you have a thought so strong in the moment that you're, you know, alive. Like right now, if you just have a thought so strong, like, you know what? This is the day that I did X, Y, and Z. This is my thing. 20 years pass, and then you remember this spot that you're in as vividly as what you're seeing in front of your face, all because taking that smell. I know some people have really lost their smell. Thanks, COVID. Another reason that I understand why you would want to end these people's lives, but let's not. Let's take that anger, let's eat it up, and let's do something else with it. We can do better. We can do better than them. But yeah, just taking in everything, feeling whatever you're feeling around you with your palms, with your hands, with your ass, if you're sitting, you know, and then in 20 years, you'll be telling yourself, shit, wait, I can remember that. I can go to that point. It's like a save point. And you can't physically go to it, but inside your mind, if you're strong enough, you can do it. It's like people who play chess in their mind and remember all the pieces, all the places. I think that's another thing that they refuse to teach you in school, that, you know, the people at the top and everybody inherently knows that this is important. You see people really getting into meditation or prayer, just trying to find a code nowadays, this Gen Z stuff, you know, and it's great. People want to be peaceful. We shouldn't be fighting wars. We just shouldn't. There's no reason for this anymore. There isn't. Because unless the people that are advocating for these wars are going to be on the front line, we should not be in any wars. And even for the people that will go on the front lines and start waging war, the people who don't want it need to sit that man down and go, here's a, what do you like? Steak? Here's some steak. Here's some potatoes. We're not leaving here. We're going to spend some time here. We're going to hear you out until you get to a point where you look so inwardly at that mirror within yourself and go, oh, I can make a change. How do I make a change? Well, I had an idea. I should probably write it down. All right. All these different things. I should say it out loud. I feel guilty. I don't want to do this bad thing. Don't be consumed by the guilt. If you get consumed by the guilt, you'll still traverse within the darkness. So, what do you need to do differently? Ask yourself, what do you need to do differently? Who am I speaking to? What do you need to do differently? Ben Askren is a tragedy, and I still believe even now, if we put some real man hours and real thought and work behind this, we can not only help him, but make him better than he ever was. Because just like a car and replacing all the parts, or even fixing the parts, maybe adding on to the parts. Yes, things corrode. And at the end of the day, you can't get around having to tack things on. And in a sense, risk not being yourself. It's something else you will have to fight with. Because in a world where your legs can be chopped off and replaced with human legs. Maybe it was clone. Maybe they were cloned cells from yourself, or maybe they're the legs of somebody else. But you are now no longer 100% you. And that is scary. And that is why they don't release certain things. They don't allow certain medical procedures, and they don't allow for people to study and learn in the way that they should. They won't. People can get carried away. People can become Orochimarus or the Angels of Death within, World War II, Nazi Germany. But I just think that I have a lot of thoughts, and it's very easy for me to rattle on and lose people in the process. But I hope at the end of the day, for anybody who can stick it out and try to hear what it is that I'm really trying to express, like really, really trying to express, that I think peace is achievable, and I think it's achievable tomorrow. I think that if we all literally just worked hand in hand and had the common goal of, we need to help bring this world back to a state where things were more peaceful. I think that time is when, if we chopped down a tree, we planted all the acorns that fell from it. If we took a shit in some water, we made sure it didn't go into the public drinking water. If we decided to have open canals and wells and fountains in the towns that we live in, unafraid that somebody will come and poison it, okay then. It's very scary to imagine what a world of full peace would look like. Because then we understand that we open ourselves up to one evil little mistake. And that mistake can poison everybody. I've thought too much. I need to go and work out. That was my intention. I wrote down everything that I would do today, and I would like to get it done way earlier. I have a little bit of the green vegetable, and I want to use it to write. I want to use it to get these fucking ideas out of me. I want to use it to write the greatest stories ever. And while I'm trying to figure out game mechanics and trying to write this sentence and dialogue and create this music and draw this scenery and, flesh out these characters, at the end of the day, I do other things. And I shouldn't feel like I then need to rush to go do that, to go and do those things. But I need to be on time. I need to be orderly. I need to respect time. So I need to go into the gym. I need to look at my body, and I need to make it as strong as possible. I will treat it kindly. I will treat it gloriously. And when I am done, I will go home. I will give Jagger, it's super cloudy. I'm kind of scared it's going to rain, so I might not do it. I did feed him before I left, but I will, I'll see if I can still give him a bath. Either way, I need to wash my hair. After I'm done washing my hair, I have what do I have to do? Meal prep. Maybe I meal prep before. We'll see how sweaty. I'm going to get pretty sweaty, but either way, meal prep, prepare my day, and I got to stream at some point, but I don't want that to be something that I'm like, I'm waiting to do it. I need to take advantage of the time. So I need to write, I need to draw, I need to make sure I have enough energy, and I need to use both hands. Holy shit. My right hand is great. My left hand is so autistic, man. Like, I stopped practicing with it, and I need to go back. And my finer motor movements have gotten better, but I also need to work on my feet. And there's too many things. There's not too many. There's so many things to do. So I need to connect it all, and I need to figure out a way to draw with my right and draw with my right hand. Okay, I'm going to write with my right hand, and I'm going to draw with my left hand, just so I don't confuse myself. I'm writing with my right, I'm drawing with my left. and then we'll see what my fucking feet do. Maybe I'll just, I don't know, I'll do something. But either way, I have to connect all of this. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to figure it out. Okay? So, I think I'm done. Yeah, I think I'm done. All right. Goodbye, everybody.